I'm Andrew, and welcome back to Custom Cards, where we teach you to make your own Magic the Gathering cards. Today we're designing white commons for a Norse-themed set, using the categories we talked about in last week's video. Because we're new to this, let's try and keep this set simple and stick to the basics. We need to design 19 white commons, and about 12 of them should be creatures. Our mechanics are Deify, which is what I'm calling the transform cards in this set, Runes, Pillage, Fortify, and Crew. To make our colors distinct, we want to separate which mechanics are focused in which colors. Deify can appear in all colors to enforce the idea that anyone can accomplish something great. Pillage makes sense in blue, black, and red, so white and green can focus more on Fortify. Crew will appear at colorless, and that leaves Runes, which would be interesting in every color as well. That means that white gets Deify, Runes, and Fortify, and we want these to appear at common. Let's keep the Deify card we designed for the mechanics video, but tweak her to make her more cohesive. While we want Deify at common, we don't want too many gods, so let's just leave it at one common in each color. Runes are enchantments, so let's make sure that one of our removal spells is a pacifism with a rune effect. Maybe when it enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your runes. Incidental life gain will help our deity transform, which is nice. We can also turn our protection spell into an aura with flash, so it can be a second rune that gives toughness equal to your runes. This feels really weak though. Maybe we kick up the cost and give power as well? Now let's make a Fortify card. We want it to grant a useful ability to our land. Maybe turn it into a defender, or have it give +1/+1 counters. Fortify is a very clunky mechanic, so come up with a lot of designs and pick the one that you like for common. We probably only want one, because there's a limit to how many you can reasonably include in a deck. With our mechanic cards made, we want to focus on making commons that fulfill the set's other needs while supporting our mechanics. Let's move on to flyers. Most sets have one small flyer, one large flyer, and a third flyer that could be either. Now, a 1/1 flyer for one is good if you have it in your opening hand, but very weak in the late game. So let's give it some late game utility by having it give another creature flying, which is a common effect to give this type of card. For the large flyer, let's give it an enters the battlefield effect, so you get immediate value out of your big spell. Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And make this our charge spell. And let's just keep our third flyer simple, but efficient. These cards are all very aggressive, so let's make a good defensive creature. Even though Vigilance says the word attack, it's also a defensive mechanic, because it lets your creatures both attack and still be able to block. If we give a creature high toughness, it should make for a good tank. Most sets also have a first striker. We could make this card, but we have some similar simple designs already, so let's add some flair. This set is going to focus both on enchantments and artifacts, so let's make this guy reward you for playing into that theme. In fact, let's make an anti-naturalize that cares about all the artifact subtypes, and another defensive creature that helps you use Fortify quicker. White usually gets a spell that makes multiple creatures, so let's make one. And the tokens can be Vikings because that's just pretty stinking cool. We also want something to tap opposing creatures. My favorite type is a creature that taps to tap other creatures, so let's make one that taps Vikings. Because that's pretty narrow, this can have better stats than other tappers. To capture the Norse feel, I'd like to make a 6-drop giant based on the Jotnar, and we'll give it some more life gain, because why not? We have one more creature slot, and we still don't have a vanilla. I left this to last so we could see what mana cost we want it to be. Looks like we could use another 3-drop. We could do this, or this, or this, but to be a bit more original, let's make it a 3/3. And because that's better than white usually gets at common, let's make it tougher to cast. That's all the creatures we need, so let's move on to some non-creature spells. We could use a second removal spell. In order to fight Pillage, let's make a cheap Verdict. Then, to make it more interesting, let's power it up if you have a rune. We'd also like another combat trick, something more reliable than this guy. So let's just have it give stats and lifelink for a low cost. White always needs some form of naturalize, and because both enchantments and artifacts matter in this set, let's make it a full naturalize. And if you choose to destroy a rune, you get your card back, because the opponent probably already got value out of that rune. Our last card could really be anything. Let's make it a cantrip that gives a +1/+1 counter. Simple and white. Now, I blew through this in a few minutes, but it actually took me several hours to make these cards, and there's no guarantee that they currently play well with each other, or with the commons I've theoretically designed for other colors. I don't even know if Fortify is going to work out as a set mechanic. The point is, take your time, design a lot of different versions of your commons, and be flexible in changing them to what the set needs as it evolves into a finished product. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what white commons you would design for this set. We'll be back next Thursday to talk about blue common slots.